Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. I was there live July 12th at AEW All in Texas, and it was an incredible show from start to finish. Yes, it was an incredibly long show. I believe we got there at noon. Some 0-hour matches started around 1. The main card started around 2, and then I don't know if we left until like 8:15 after Adam Page won the championship, and then of course we got absolutely drenched on our way to the car. But overall, like, AEW put on an incredible show. I believe it was the best All In to date. And my favorite match, and I think the match of the night, I think the number one match of the night, no argument there, was the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve. We know that the Young Bucks are one of the best tag teams of the past 10 years. We know that Swerve is one of the best big match wrestlers on the planet. We know that Ospreay is probably pound for pound the best wrestler on the planet, and those four men delivered exceptionally. They executed their chemistry, their intensity, their movements, their flow. Everything about that match was excellent. And after that match happened, everyone in Arlington, Texas at that stadium was ready to go. It was a little bit slow heading into that match. And once that match happened and the movement started happening and the moves and the intensity and the near falls and the finish and all that sort of stuff started happening, everyone came unglued and they were really drawn to every match the rest of the show. But I think that was the match of the night, the pure match of the night, and a huge stipulation on that match as well. So we'll see if that means moving forward for AEW. But amazing match, my favorite match of the night. I think the matches that underdelivered the most were the Gauntlet women's match and the Toni Storm versus Mercedes match. The Gauntlet match was just okay, but the one thing that came out of there that was amazing was that Athena won. She's the perfect choice. She's an incredible wrestler. She's a hometown girl. She owns a independent wrestling company just down the street called MPX Wrestling, which everyone should check out. She's amazing in the ring. She needs more time on AEW. That was the perfect choice for her to win that Gauntlet match. And I thought Mercedes and Toni Storm was mediocre at best. I thought it was going to be really good. Maybe they didn't have a lot of chemistry. Maybe it just wasn't their night. Whatever the case may be. But that's all squashed. That doesn't even matter because Toni Storm won, and that's the perfect and excellent and right decision for that match. She's probably the best champion that AEW has. She delivers stories. She delivers moments. She delivers matches. She's one of the best in the world, and you want to keep her with that strap so she can create more and more stories. Maybe she'll go against Athena because now Athena has a guaranteed title shot. Maybe we'll see more with her and Mercedes. I don't know. But Toni Storm being the champ is the best thing for me. And then you have Okada and Omega face off in sort of this generational talent, best bout machine type winner take all match. And it delivered. It delivered. Yes, the fans in attendance were a little tired. You could tell they weren't as into it as they would be if that match had happened 3 hours prior, because we were in hour 5 at this point when these two absolute wrestling legends came out and delivered, like a really, really, really good professional wrestling match from two really, really good professional wrestlers. But I think people would have been even more invested had that happened maybe 3 hours ago. I don't know if I'm AEW, if I stack all 3 main events back to back to back, because I know they're promoting this sort of triple main event show and they're all in their WrestleMania, but maybe have that earlier in the show, then Mercedes and Toni middle of the show, and then you end with Adam Page and Moxley at the end of the show. But they love this idea of escalation, and every match just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you're going to, have this sort of triple threat, main event style show where that's what you're promoting, maybe that's what you would have done. But I don't know, maybe they would have got a bigger reaction, a better reaction, a different reaction, less exhausted reaction, potentially from the fan base. But still an incredible match. Maybe that was just food for thought for me from here as a fan watching it live in person in Arlington, Texas. But Okada Omega, amazing. And then the show ends with one of the craziest fucking matches I've ever seen in my whole life with Adam Page and Jon Moxley. We saw, Bryan Danielson there. We saw the return of Darby Allin. We saw Swerve out there. We saw Ospreay go back in a stretcher. We also saw earlier in the show Samoa Joe go back in a stretcher. So that's very interesting what those injuries might say about the future of those two guys. But the match was insane. Really, really, really well done, incredibly well done. Maybe this sort of hardcore deathmatch stuff isn't your cup of tea as a professional wrestling fan. It's not something that I super love or go out of my way to watch. I really don't. But this match, in this moment, in this stadium, in this feud, was really well done. The story was really well done. And Adam Page is the correct choice. He's your new winner. He is the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and that's a perfect, absolutely perfect moment to end that show. And I think that match was incredible. Not my match of the night. Moment of the night, yes, obviously. Moment of the night, obviously, is all of that shit that happened in that match. And then Adam Page winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, moment of the night, beautiful. Match of the night was the tag team match of the Young Bucks versus Swerve and Ospreay. But I thought overall, AEW All in Texas was a really good show. Everyone at AEW should be very proud of their work. Yes, it was a little long. Sure, we can keep saying that. But overall, from start to finish, it was an excellent show. And that's my personal reaction to AEW All in Texas. Now let's move into a slight reaction to also a show that happened on July 12th, which is Saturday night's main event. And there's really only a couple things to talk about from that show that are important for the future of WWE. One being is that, yes, the match is official. We will see Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Maybe this is where Randy Orton actually loses his mind and puns someone and turns heel, and John Cena turns back babyface, and there's whole just a schmoz happens because he's fucking sick of, teaming with Jelly Roll, and he's mad at Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton just crashes out, punts someone in the head, and then we see this crashed out Randy Orton for the rest of the year, just going berserk, being the apex predator that he is. So we know that came from Saturday night's main event. And then the next thing that was really important was that I think Seth Rollins has a legitimate knee injury. And what does this mean? This means a lot. It could be anything. It could be just a strain, it could be an MCL, it could be a UCL, it could be out 2 weeks, could be out 6 months, could be out a year. You don't really know right now the severity of what's happening in his knee. We know, I think he's had knee issues before. I think he does already have a surgically repaired knee. So you don't know the extent of the injury right now. It could be that he has to relinquish the Money in the Bank briefcase. It could be that he'll only be out a week or two. It could be that he just tweaked it in the match and wanted to stay safe, so he shut it down early. There's a lot of questions here for Seth Rollins as he's in one of the most prominent spots in WWE right now, trying to be the guy, building this, group that he has of Seth and Company or the Seth Riders or whatever it is. So this is very interesting. And you can see that Seth Rollins and LA Knight changed the finish on the fly. Seth Rollins was originally planned to win. He hurts his knee. LA Knight and him improvise. They talk to each other right there in the moment. Seth Rollins can't go anymore. LA Knight wins the match. So there's a lot of things that could potentially happen between now and then in terms of his injury, what might happen? Does he have to relinquish? Does he have to go away? All these sorts of things. And also, as we're talking about injuries, this just came to my mind. We saw Adam Cole in AEW come out and say he just doesn't know when he'll be back. He's had health issues. I think it's head and neck type stuff. He comes out and is very heartfelt, very emotional, cried in the ring about his love for the fans, his love for professional wrestling. He doesn't know when he'll be back. And just, I thought it was a beautiful moment about someone who is loved in the industry. In every promotion he's been to, he's been loved by the fans and by other wrestlers. He's one of the nicest guys around and one of the sweetest men, and absolutely loves professional wrestling, and you can see that on his face. So, best wishes to Adam Cole in his road to recovery. It's all love for everyone in the professional wrestling business to Adam Cole, and the same to Seth Rollins. Hopefully you recover quickly. Hopefully it's a minor injury. Hopefully everything's all good, and we can see both Seth Rollins back in the ring as soon as possible, healthy, and eventually, when he's healthy, we can see Adam Cole back in the ring, along with Kevin Owens. Hopefully we can see Adam Cole and Kevin Owens back in the ring, same time, doing what they love, healthy as can be, being able to take care of themselves and their family. So I wanted to say that before I move on to the last bit of this Goldberg and Gunther, which is the most important sort of thing that came out of Saturday night's main event. I mean, Goldberg and Gunther wrestled a 14-minute match. If you guessed that, if you put odds that it would go over 10 minutes and you won, I'm shocked. I didn't think this match was going to go past 5 minutes. It went almost 15 minutes. Goldberg wrestled almost 15 minutes. This is Goldberg's best match in the last 25 years, maybe his best match ever. And this is a testament to Gunther, of how good Gunther is in the ring, who he can work with, how he can work, and everything about Gunther. Like Goldberg put together a 14-minute match at 58 years old and hasn't wrestled longer than 8 minutes probably in 20 years. And so then, boom, that's amazing, has to be said. But Gunther taps him out and retires Goldberg. And it's also now noted that Gunther is the front runner to be John Cena's very last match. Now, will that match be a title match, or will John Cena lost the strap at that point in December to a Cody Rhodes, to a Randy Orton, to a CM Punk, and he just gets into a feud as a babyface with Gunther where they clash, and Gunther also retires John Cena. So in one calendar year, Gunther could potentially retire Goldberg and John Cena, and he's going to build that sleeper hold up all the way up until he can tap out John Cena in the middle of the ring in December in Boston, probably at another Saturday night's main event. But the most important thing to come out of that Saturday night's main event was that Gunther retains his World Heavyweight Championship. He carries Goldberg for 14 minutes in the best Goldberg match probably ever, and then taps him out, retires him, and now it's rumored, big time rumored, really big rumor, that Gunther is also going to be John Cena's final match. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.